Yeah.
Ian Gregg and Jen Tucker with CFUR Radio 88.7 FM, broadcasting from Claylee-Tenay traditional territory in the town site of Prince George, BC. Matthew, or Matt Monias, is a rising star in Canada's hip-hop scene, going by the moniker Mattmac. You're coming to town shortly for ColdSnap fundraiser. It comes through town, the Winter Festival, ColdSnap.
Yeah.
Dak'et Shun Inli, October 21st. Also featuring Simbiyez Wilson and Zenon Plus. At 23 years of age, Matt draws inspiration not just from current experiences, but also a majority of his life spent where he grew up, in a remote Northern Manitoba rural reservation. It's exciting to have this growing career trajectory touch upon Prince George, BC. But currently you are stationed in Manitoba, right? That's your stomping ground?
As of right now, yeah. I am in Manitoba.
Whereabouts did you grow up in Manitoba? Like, where are you from?
So I grew up in a remote farming community in Northern Manitoba called Garden Hill First Nation.
I'm from a rural setting myself. It's not implausible anymore to think that a hip-hop artist might emerge from a rural community, but it still kind of throws people off sometimes, right? How did you? What drew you to the genre?
It's interesting. I don't know, like I was really inspired. I was kind of like really was very self-taught in like everything that I'm doing. Obviously, like I'm producing music. Back in 2017, I was like really inspired to go the hip-hop direction when a program called Zenon. They go to like First Nation schools across Canada. They write, record, and film an original song, and they film a music video to go along with it. And I was participating in that program, and that really just like really drew me into hip hop and just being a part of that. And yeah.
Have you participated now that you kind of made it as an artist? Are you working with youth from time to time too, and kind of giving back in that way?
From time to time, I do present at some conferences from time to time, so that is something.
You have won this year's CBC Music Searchlight 2023 contest, which is so incredible. Yeah, what was that like for you? That's so amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was quite a surprise, I'm not going to lie, but it was kind of good. I think it was cool. Obviously, like there's a lot of overwhelming support from that, and it's the chance to some opportunities. So that came up with this. So yeah, it's been exciting.
Yeah, no kidding. That's incredible. Yeah, what an achievement.
And you also do a lot of your own production work. Are you also producing beats for other artists, or are you focused on your own projects right now?
Occasionally, I will produce. It usually, if I'm like vibing with another artist, I will definitely like produce for them as well. I am working on an album actually right now that is featuring a lot of like my producing that really goes into like Mattmac's producing like headspace. And basically in my next album, I'm basically getting a whole bunch of Indigenous artists together, and I basically gave a whole bunch of beats out, and so I've got some people on this next project. So
that sounds amazing. Did you toss the beats out there into the ether, like online, and then working on original?
No, it was more so like I reached out towards people. I had like a list of people, so I reached out, kind of like I started like a little email thread, and people started coming together through like collaborations and stuff like that. So that's basically what this next project is mainly about. It's just like collaboration and just to get these beats into out there.
Sounds like it really organically grew that way. I'm curious, artists have to make the leap sometimes from producing, like in their own bedroom, recording, to then going on stage in front of an audience. The live performance aspect can be utterly terrifying, right?
Yeah. You're
doing it now. What were the main challenges for you bridging that gap?
I'm not sure. I've never really thought of that. That's actually a really good question. I was always like kind of used to singing in front of people. I have been singing for as long as I can remember. But like being able to like perform my own original like work and my own original content, that's something like I find like it's cool to do, but at the same time like I'll get nervous from time to time. But then once I get on stage, it's like, wow, this is amazing, and I'm very like in the moment.
You find that stride and you just kind of go for it, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
You're releasing an album, coming up on the next year. Do you have plans for touring further and farther through Canada? Is BC on your agenda? I imagine you've performed here before.
I've done shows in BC for sure. I'm actually really excited to be back over there. But in terms of like long term, let's do shows, and we're just gonna take it as is, and then just work with what we got and continue to develop and grow as an artist, obviously. So, yeah.
As I understand it, you're visually impaired, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious, when it comes to producing your own audio, your own beats, do you use like specialized software, or how does it come together for you? Are you playing like live instruments, or is it like digital stuff? What's your favorite method of expression?
Yeah, so a lot of people are very, very very curious about that. A lot of people seem to think you talk to the computer, like click this or tap this or whatever, but that's not how it works. Just basically the way how I navigate a computer and technology is a piece of software that's called VoiceOver. VoiceOver is a screen reader that reads items out on the screen, and it outputs through text-to-speech, and you're navigating with the keyboard.
And in some of like the creative environments you've worked with, do you feel like they're kind of already set up with software like that, or is it something like you kind of have to push for ahead of time and things like that, or is that getting any better as you're continuing your journey as an artist? Or do you feel like you're like breaking that ground constantly? I'm
so glad that you brought that up. Accessibility, so it's 2023. We talk about inclusion and all this stuff, but we're not like we're up to a standard that is like usable for like a lot of what you can do on a computer, a blind person is able to do. It's just that a lot of it, like sometimes we'll come across a piece of software that isn't necessarily scripted or coded to work with the screen reader, and sometimes we have to find workarounds to get around this accessibility issue. But as for what I got going now, I'm working with Logic Pro X, which works really, really well straight out of the box. Like as soon as you open the program, like I'm able to use it, and yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad that there's like some advancements and improvements that are becoming like a little more standardized, right? Do you find yourself improvising a lot when you're producing to like work around something that doesn't work the way it should?
I mean, no, because I usually like to work with stuff that I know that is compatible with screen readers. A lot of like what's out there it works, and if it doesn't work, there's someone has already like put out scripts to have something to work with the screen reader. Let's say a virtual instrument. I can't see the controls, but the VoiceOver can't see the controls. There's like a script that'll enable VoiceOver to interact with those controls. So that's how it works.
Within our own context here at the radio station, we get used to software, equipment, and things like that. We use them for like multiple years, and all of a sudden there's an update. You can't use it anymore, and you're looking for a patch or a plugin to like force this thing to work somehow, right?
Oh yeah, that's like the most annoyingest part, because it's like you have to wait until like everything is compatible again. It's just like either that or you don't update for like a while.
Yeah, Windows 11 just came out. That was supposed to be so great, and of course it wipes out all this great stuff that we've been using for so long. And I'm curious, are there any like resources or groups that you've been able to access that like have their ear to the ground on like, this is coming out, this is going to solve this problem, that kind of thing? Is there a community of helpful resources when it comes to helping this stuff work into the future?
I mean, there are people that I know who are super, super connected with like accessibility teams and stuff like that. And yeah, I just work with them, and not even on the accessibility side, but like I just more on the personal side with them. And they let me know on like stuff that is becoming more like accessible, including just recently, Ableton. For some of the people who don't know what Ableton is, it's a music program that is very popular amongst dance producers. that recently just they're working on like a beta version that is very accessible. So I heard about that through him, and I'm just like, whoa, that is so cool.
Yeah, things are finally starting to get some momentum. That is really good news. For people in PG, we want to get them out of the show and experience your set. What is something that sets you apart that maybe they can't experience elsewhere?
Yeah, for sure. So a lot of the stuff that you're going to be expecting from my set is from my last project that just came out. It's called Reservation. That came out last year. So this is kind of like a little promotion. Yeah, I'm really excited for it. You'll hear some songs from my debut as well, my first album that came out 2020. So that's to be expected. Yeah, come out and support not only for me but for everybody who's putting this together, including all the other artists as well.
We're really looking forward to your performance here in Prince George. Dak'et Shun Inli. Thanks so much for chatting with us today. I really appreciate it, Mattmac.
Of course. Appreciate y'all for having me.
Ian, Gregg, and Jen Tucker signing off with CFUR Radio 88.7 FM in Prince George, broadcasting on traditional territory of the Gladely-Tenay First Nation. This segment was created with the support of the local journalism initiative managed by the CRFC and Heritage Canada.